Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstacythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. I've got a special guest coming on. I ain't going to say too much, but once again, for those of you who don't know me, I am Stacey Thomas, unrestricted, unlimited. Why? I'm glad you asked. God doesn't want me to be put in a box, right? Nor my guest. And you're going to find that out tonight. This is one sister you will not put in a box. Let's welcome Dr. Nashayla Nelson. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You know what? This has been a long time coming. I have been following you for years. And I've always just been so proud of you. And you one of the people that have motivated me over the years. I remember you had your store and your products. And I just remember saying, wow, a sister doing it like this. So I'm going to say, and people may say, Stacey, you should have saved it for the end. But right away, I want to say, you're a veteran. You're an assistant police chief. You're a speaker. You're an author. So I got to thank you for all of it. I got to thank you for your service in the military. I got to thank you for protecting us in these streets. I want to thank you for the things that you're saying to bless others. So now that that's out of the way, is all good?
Yes, it's all good.
Dr. Nelson, you're a woman that you're just doing so many things. And my question is, like, the first thing that I wanted to ask you is, as an individual that's dealing with things that are going on in the street, because obviously people aren't calling the police to give good news or to tell you come to dinner. How is it that you are working in law enforcement and at the same time you still have the energy or the passion to motivate and inspire?
Well, I think that when you start off in law enforcement or the military, it's a calling, right?
Right.
Because it's service. Because there's no amount of money that you can put on someone's life. And that's the ultimate sacrifice when you're in a service, an agency that is committed to service. So although I'm not working in the street anymore per se, my new calling, I feel like, is to help with wellness, a holistic approach to wellness. I remember some of the things that I saw and dealt with when I was on the street. And so I look at emotional intelligence, I look at education, how are we doing our policies, how can we help make our officers and our people as whole as possible? And that's through interaction, education, and a holistic approach, right? So I think it's important that we present ourselves as whole as possible, right? Because it's like, think about when you drinking your coffee, right? When you drinking your tea.
Right.
If you were to drop that cup, that might be your favorite cup, but if you were to drop that cup and you super glued it back together, you super glued the handle back together, you could still drink out of that cup, right?
Right.
It's still functional, but it has a crack. So that's how I think about relationships and situations and trauma, right? We have to try to repair that crack as much as possible, because when people are coming to our lives, our organizations, or whatever we're doing, they're the best versions of themselves. And the things that they see crack them. So how can we fix them in such a way that where they may not be 100%, but they are still whole and they're functional. So fitness, education, uh, literacy, financial wellness, debriefings, a holistic approach, mental health, all of the things that you used to think were taboo, they're not. These are things that were heightened during COVID because everyone was isolated. No one's meant to be alone 100%, right? So when you take away that social interaction, people forget how to communicate, how to deal, and it messes with you mentally. So my goal, even through my job or through my consultant or even through my business, is to provide people with information and tools to where they can pivot and change direction or understand that this one moment in time doesn't define you, but what defines you is how you react and how you recover from those moments and how can you repair the crack to become the best version of your current self.
Wow, I love it. So this state of being, this person that you are today in 2025, did you know that you were going to want to do this, or did something trigger this? Did you see something not being done? Did something, if it's not too personal, did something come on your mind one day about your own life? Where did this passion come from?
Well, I've always been an advocate, you know, for others and for things. I have a son that's autistic, so I'm an advocate for him, right?
Okay, okay.
Um, I have a daughter. You know, I'm a mom, so I have a daughter. She's just as bright. She just finished law school, and there are times.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And there were times where I had to say to her, "Hey, we can't quit." You know, when she was going through her early college, her dual enrollment during high school, and I had to say, "Hey, well, we signed up for this. We can't quit." You know, and then my family, they would say, "Hey, just because it's getting a little rough, you can't quit." You know,
Wow.
we just gotta think about it, figure out ways to do things, and do it. You know, as a united front. So I think about that in all of my, you know, relationships now, even more so, you know, because with each year is another year of age and more
That's right.
wisdom, right? Um, but there have been situations and instances in my life where, um, you know, the light bulb goes off. You're like, well, maybe if I would have done these things differently, then I would have gotten this result. And you
Right.
can't, but you can't live in regret or possibilities. You have to live in the reality of today. So once you live in that reality, you can still have an opportunity to readjust and change things. Um, and I had the opportunity to be on peer support teams, to help pour into others because I didn't originally go to college to be a criminal justice major. I went for social work and anthropology.
Oh, wow. So it was in you. It was already in you.
So yes. So but I talk about that and then some life-changing events in my book, and it gives, you know, uh examples of how you can pivot through things, how you can use emotional intelligence to help you, and how you can define what success means to you, which I
Wow.
think is important. You know, if you aren't happy with the life that you're living, no matter how successful you may be, no matter how others view what you've done, you're not going to feel successful. So you can't let other people define your success, and they can't define your happiness. So it's very important to understand who you are and to set your goals and your sights on things that empower and enrich you.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna say this because I spoke on this earlier when I did a live. What you said, how you described yourself, how you described your life would make an individual want to follow you, would make an individual want to know what else is it that Dr. Nelson has to tell us. between the law enforcement, you have a son with autism, a daughter that graduated from college. You've got your plate full. Is there anything with all of these things? How do they go together? What do they share? Your role in your part in each one of these roles.
They all share my heart. They all share, they all provide me with a fullness, right? But I would not be able to do all the things that I do without having a great support system, right? It's not just, I'm sitting here talking to you, but I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have a strong family support system, if I didn't have great accountability partners, i.e., my friends, if I didn't have my own set of mentors, if I didn't have people who inspired me, because I don't want to be in the room where I'm the smartest person. I need to be in the room where I'm learning and absorbing and finding out new things that I can go and read and research and things like that. Because guess what? That's what fills me up, to learn and to find out new things and random fun facts. That's what keeps my mind going and keeps me, rooted and makes things worthwhile for me. So I'll tell anybody, figure out what your why is. And once you figure out your why, then you can start setting goals to meet the success that you would like to have. You got to have a why first.
And you pretty much like answered something else. Well, there's probably with you, there's probably more. So before we get to the book, let's talk about on the Dr. Nashayla Nelson website.
Mm-hmm.
You have you're there for speaking engagements, you have
Mm-hmm.
workshops. What can people, well, first of all, you guys should visit the website. But what is it that you want to stress to people that they're going to get from Dr. Nelson if they invite her to speak, or if they would like to do a one-on-one with you?
Sure. If you would like for me to speak, you're going to get an interactive workshop. It's going to be a conversation. You're going to learn something. I'm going to learn something from you. But what you're going to take away is some tangible skills that you'll be able to use later on and share with other people. Now, my website has some things, but we can always do a one-on-one consultation and see what you need, because again, having a team is great, right?
Right, right.
So if it's something that I'm not an expert in, but you need that service, I have a network of people and we get together and we could still put on a robust workshop for you. I will just be your facilitator. My goal is to help empower other people so that they can be the best versions of themselves. And if it's for your organization, to make your organization be the best version of itself, because guess what? In order for you to be successful, you need for your people to be successful.
Wow. And I have to ask,
Mhm.
so there's something on the website about home protection or intelligence?
Yes. So that's just basically, with all the things that we see going on with mass shootings, with people being assaulted when they're entering and exiting their homes. Basically, it's a workshop on how to keep yourself safe.
Okay.
So, and it's tailored specifically to you and your organization. So that would be one of those instances where we would have to have a conference call to discuss your organization so that the presentation can be tailored to you, your organization, your staff.
Wow. You know what? You're just amazing. Um, and I guess the main thing for somebody like me and my sisters will go, Stacey, you're so dramatic, but I love that you said your heart. All of this comes from your heart. And now I want to talk about the book. So I want to
Okay.
bring the book on. Let's see. Okay, let's see how we're going to do this. So tell us, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
Um,
you.
Tell us about the book.
Sure. The book is called The Pivot: Recipes for Success. So it is a abbreviated autobiography which takes you through some different parts of my life, not my entire, but it takes you through some different parts of my life to let you see that you can start out in one area or position. Like I told you earlier, I started off as a social work major and had to pivot from that. So
Okay.
the book talks about that, and it talks about how pivots are not necessarily a bad thing. They could just be an avenue towards greater growth. And so then the book also helps you to figure out how to define what success means for you. So, and it's the reason why it's called Recipes for Success is because I love to cook. So this book is going to help you cook up some success. Okay.
Wow. I was gonna say what is it that I'm gonna get from this book? If I get this book, like the book is on the table and it's four other books, and I was gonna say, why should I get Dr. Nelson's book? I'm glad you answered that. And you said you love to cook. So it's basically a recipe, did you say, for success?
Yes, it is going to help you cook up your success. Almost it's giving you the ingredients for how to whip up some success. So I always tell people when I do coaching that you gotta figure out what your why is. You gotta come up with some obtainable goals so that you can reach your big goal. So
Wow.
this book talks about that. It talks about using emotional intelligence as a tool. I'm a certified emotional intelligence coach. So of course that's something that I want to share with other people. You know,
What is that?
emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence basically deals with how you communicate with others and how your communication comes across in a nutshell. But you look at your self perception, you look at your communication, your decision making. All those things are encompassed in emotional intelligence. And my book talks about that as well.
Oh wow, you're covering some important topics. You're covering some things I might need to well, I'm gonna have to tell a few people they need to check it out. Maybe they can get some help themselves. But that's my little Dr.
Yes.
Nelson. What is the A lot of people think when you do more than one thing that that's a bad thing. But people don't realize that we grow, right? We
Mhm.
grow from one thing to the other. And I say as we get older, we get smarter, we get wiser. What
Mhm.
is the biggest challenge in the things that you've done in your career? Out of all the
Mhm.
things you've done, including this book, what is the biggest challenge that you can tell us about and how did you overcome it?
Well, I think that a big challenge is worrying about the perceptions of others, right? And
Right.
that's one of the things that I talk about in the book. Self perception is one of the categories of emotional intelligence. So the important thing is now how other people see you, but how you see yourself, right? So do you see yourself as successful? Do you see yourself pushing through to finish this project? Are you casting doubt on your abilities? Those are the things that um, I always tell myself, well, you know the material, you know what you're talking about. So what does it matter what the naysayers say? And I always um, revert back to say, well, they talked about Jesus.
I know that's right.
They even crucified him, and they still talked about him,
I
right?
know that's right, sweetheart.
So if that can happen to him, I should expect nothing less. But they're gonna be talking while the wind is hitting my back and I'm pushing forward to define who I am, right? Because
Right.
I believe in that there's more in the windshield ahead of you than the rearview mirror behind you, right? So you have all of this in front of you. What are you going to do with it? And I tell myself that all the time because I won't be working in law enforcement forever. And I know what my passions are. right?
Right.
So why can't I step into my purpose now?
There's no reason why you can't. You've said a mouthful. And I hope those that are watching get something out of this and also check out the book. So on here we have your website,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna put up how they can get the book.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Because you're doing a lot, and
Uh-huh.
you've people know you.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road, years from now, if someone's talking about Dr. Nashayla Nelson, what is it that you want someone to tell another person?
Just I just want to be remembered as a fair person, a person who impacted their life in a positive way. You know that that I was caring. Things that you can't buy. You know,
Right.
and and everyone's has stumbling blocks in their lives. Me too. Everybody has. I just want people to say, "Well, she taught me something." You know, good,
Beautiful.
bad, or indifferent. I want to be remembered as a person who left an impact on others.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. If they want to follow you or connect with you, is the website the best? Well, we know we can connect with you on the website. How
Mhm.
do we follow you?
If you would like to follow me on Instagram, it is one chief underscore Shay, Shay. And there's a big picture of my face on there. And on Facebook is my name, Nashayla Nelson.
Okay, and we're going to show the book again because even at the end, we want to know what was the purpose of Stacey bringing Dr. Nelson on here. What great news or blessing did she have to share with everybody else? So we've got the book, and let's see, we want to know how we can purchase it. You can go to paypal.com, and then that's the information behind it.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And if they want to, because this is pre-orders, the
Okay.
pre-order period will end on March the 30th. And after my pre-orders, because I'm signing all of those and I'm giving everybody who pre-orders, I don't know if you can see this with
A
my back.
bookmark? A bookmark?
Everybody gets a pivot bookmark. Yes.
Okay.
So with all the pre-orders, but if folks want to get on the waiting list, they can go to my website. There's a link for the waiting list, and
Okay.
then it will be on Autobook and it'll be on Amazon in mid-April. But I want to make sure all of my people who did pre-orders get their books first. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yes,
Congratulations again.
thank you.
Thank you for your service again. Meaning and military I say out in these streets, even though you're not in the street, I'm sure you're still contributing a lot to keeping us safe. And I look forward to watching you grow. I look forward to hearing what's next. I don't know if it's going to be a second book. I don't know if you're going to have a radio show, a TV show. With you, anything is possible. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me on. We were supposed to do this a while ago, so I'm glad we were able to make this happen. It's been so much fun.
You know what? I said to myself when we were trying to come up with a date, I'm not going to tell you. I said, she's too busy. I said, she is too busy. And then I see the book pop up. I think I was late seeing that. I'm like, she done wrote a book too.
Yes, I have been, you know, doing doing some things that, keep me full,
I
and
get
writing
it.
this book was a passion project and I really just wanted to share, some things with others. So I'm really proud of it.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'm proud of you. But like I said, when I first started following you, I was proud of you. It's nice to end it with this. It's nice to come across women, especially women of color, that network with others, that don't mind if someone asks them a question, they answer the question. I know you're like that because I've asked you questions in the past. And it's nice to see a woman, period, doing what you're doing and giving back to the community and to bless others. So I'm wishing you the very best. All right.
Thank you.
And
Same to you. I'm proud of you too.
thank
You
you.
wanted
And
the show and you got it, girl.
thank you very much. And have a good night, sweetheart.
You too. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me again.
No problem. Hey, was that good? Dr. Nashayla Nelson, right? So we're gonna put the book back up. There's the book. I'm gonna take you will get a free bookmark if you pre-order now to go with your book. You can follow her, Dr. Nashayla Nelson, on Facebook. Okay, thank you. Everybody, remember, like I always say, don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.
Want to be heard? Get featured on The Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email staceythomas@gmail.com.